I know how it's going, people, so I'm not about to ask you. Welcome back to AFTV. This is the full-time show for the Villarreal game. It feels like the full-time show for the season, if I'm honest with you. But before we get going with Cecil and James, make sure you guys check this video from Whole DL Super 6, discussing the next inductee for midfield into the Hall of Fame.
Pierre was a different kind of player, not any less of a player, but a different kind of player. Why do you think he should be the next into the Hall of Fame?
He is a Premier League legend. I don't doubt the ability and the achievements of the other two players, but Patrick Vieira, when he came into the Premier League, £3 million from AC Milan, nobody knew who he was from the very first moment we saw him, and he made his debut. He came off the bench. You knew instantly what he was about.
So if you care, let us know in the comments what you think for the next inductee into the Hall of Fame. What do you guys think? Xhaka? Partey?
Bloody hell.
They wouldn't even get a sniff at getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. The only people you think of right now that could potentially be that in a few years is Kevin De Bruyne, in my opinion. But if we're looking at that should be inducted from our history, Patrick Vieira has to go in there, number one for me.
Vieira, number one. James?
Yeah, Roy Keane, Lampard, Scholes. Some great names out there.
Not Gerrard?
Yeah, I think Gerrard I'm not saying Gerrard wasn't as good, just I think what he achieved in the Premier League compared to the others is maybe just a level below slightly, but still an unbelievable player. There's some good names there.
I'd go for Roy Keane, 100%. I said it before and I say it again, one of the greatest captains in the Premier League. Him and Adams are up there for me in terms of the best captains the Premier League has seen. So I'll go for Roy Keane, but we could do with any of those names at Arsenal right now. Yeah. So let's get into it. Where do we start?
Are we going to talk about it?
This is tough, man.
Should we got maybe we got UFC here. Can we talk about this today? No, anyone know about UFC? No, anyone?
No. Listen, Arsenal couldn't even win that, mate.
Boxing. I don't want to talk about it.
Listen, man, you called Federer Ferratio, so I don't even want to talk about this sports with you, honestly. Yeah, look, where do we go from here? That's kind of going to be the rounding off topic from this game.
Where do we go?
We do have to somewhat analyse it. Sorry, guys, we can't just pick and choose the games we want to analyse when it's fun. Should we go into it?
Might as well, yeah. When is it ever fun, I thought, but I get what you mean.
Good point.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Starting 11, I had a lot of questions about it. Listen, the one bit of applause I'll give to Arteta is that he clearly thought, let's get Smith Rowe and Odegaard in central midfield together. Let's get that front three of Saka, Pepe, Aubameyang. And it looked like the intent was there to have a bit of a go. Few questions. I wish I mentioned this in my fan account actually, but obviously we can mention it now. You want to play out the back? Fine. Okay, that's okay. I don't have I know a lot of fans are, why are we playing out the back? We're terrible at it.
Modern day.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think you got to try it when you're bad at it to eventually get good at it. But then why did you play Bellerin instead of Cedric, Holding instead of Chambers, when Chambers and Cedric are much better ball players? They're more press resistant. I know a lot of people hate that word, but they are. They're better on the ball. They're stronger on the ball. They're better skillfully. They've got better ability. They're more composed footballers. They're also that split second quicker in terms of they're more proactive than reactive than Holding and Bellerin, I think. Yeah. How many times did the ball get switched out and you saw Bellerin going to press? But the ball's there. The press was too late. I just thought you had a game plan, but you didn't have the players to execute it. And then the last thing I'll say in the back four is, okay, he's going to go for Xhaka at left back, fine. He gets injured and Tierney plays. But I'm looking at Gabriel and Mari. I actually thought Mari was one of our better players, to be fair. I'll give him credit. When everything was falling apart around him, I actually thought he kind of kept it together. But Gabriel's got a decent record of set pieces. I think 3, maybe 4 goals from set pieces this season, or crossed into the box. It's going to get to that nitty-gritty time in the game. You don't want Gabriel in the box for set pieces.
Let me piggyback on that as well. So when we played David Luiz at the back against Newcastle, he was putting the balls through. He's the one that pushes the ball into the midfield and get the ball forward. When you have Holding and Mari, that gets eliminated. There's none of the defence line pushing the ball forward and breaking the line. So Gabriel does do that. I know Luiz isn't available, but Gabriel does do that. Not as much as Luiz, and probably not as good as Luiz, but he does that more than both of them. And I know Arteta's not going to play 2 left footers, but I mean, anything would have been better than what we saw yesterday.
Now, you make a very valid point. If you're going to play at the back, why don't you play the defenders that are best at playing at the back? It's not like there's much difference in terms of the defensive nous, let's say. Well, there actually is in terms of Cedric and Bellerin for me. I think Cedric's actually a much better defender as well, as much better
I
attacker
think he's better
on
in
the
every
ball.
aspect. Of the
Yeah.
game, yeah.
So can you make sense of it?
No, I can't.
How does Bellerin come back in the side? I know he wasn't at... Listen, we didn't concede a goal yesterday.
Why did he come back in the side?
But why was... And how was Bellerin?
I've been very critical of Bellerin this season. But I'm going to say I don't blame him for yesterday.
I don't blame him. He was very, very poor, but we didn't concede a goal. And he was one of the defenders.
And also, the guy's out of favour for 2 months. Plays okay against Newcastle. He's pretty good. And what, now you think he's European semi-final ready? That's not fair on the guy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, where I'm going to re-stick up for Bellerin here is the knee injury is bad. And I don't think anyone, unless they've had the injury, and I've spoken to people who have, can really comprehend what that can do psychologically and also physically, what you can do mobility-wise. So I think that's really hampered him. I feel sorry for him. You can see he's lost a lot of pace because of it. So I really feel sorry for him there. Then to be thrown into this game and expected to essentially be the main attacking outlet down our right-hand side when he's not played for 2 months, it's not right. It's not fair on him.
Do you not put it down to the Bellerin being honest with himself and saying he might not be ready since he's had his injury and not be at the level for that game? Or do you put it down to the manager saying he should be aware of it?
Manager.
He should be aware of it and say...
What's Bellerin going to say? No, don't play him in the semi-final, I'm not ready.
I hear that, but...
And like I said, January last year he bought Cedric. When he bought Cedric, we had Bellerin and Maitland-Niles as our first two. When we bought Cedric, Arteta said, this is our best attacking fullback. We go into a game where we need a goal, playing out the back. And Cedric is not only behind Bellerin now, but he's behind Chambers too, who wasn't even an entity when he first came in that position.
Do you know what's mad about Cedric? If you did, I know this isn't how it works, but if you did a player of the season, but you based it just on the average performance you've got from them throughout the season, he's top 3 players.
He would be up there,
He might well be, in terms of consistency, player of the season. I'm not even joking. The thing is, we've not seen him enough, nor have we seen him in big enough moments. But in terms of what he's delivered all season, probably our most consistent player. And that's the amazing thing. So I look at the manager, I'm thinking, how do we know this? And you don't.
Would you prefer him left back over Xhaka, out of position?
No, Cedric looked awkward at left back. I mean, I think he had some decent performances, but that's the left back position. I don't blame Arteta for, right? You've got people upstairs above you who aren't going to back you by getting a proper backup left back. For, and I keep repeating it, our most injury prone player. You know, that is a joke in itself, but I'm not going to throw it all on Arteta. That's not his fault.
I do, on the question you asked, I do think that, look, last year in the semis and the FA Cup run, he played Maitland-Niles on the left because obviously his strong foot on the right, they tend to cut in. What does Chukwueze do?
Yeah,
cut in. So Cedric, even though he has looked imbalanced in that position sometimes, he is more better equipped to deal with a left footer cutting in from the right because his strong side. Whereas Xhaka, it's his weak side, and we saw that a couple of times. He wasn't exposed as much as I thought he would be in the first leg,
agreed.
But he has been in the couple games.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch on the sort of system and how it works a little bit more in a sec, but let's start with Arsenal over both legs because the stats are
damning,
borderline horrendous.
Wow.
So we had 23 shots across the 2 legs. We only had 4 on target. We had 4 on target. You can only laugh, right?
Yeah.
4.
Bro,
4.
Over 2 legs?
Over 2 legs, we had 4.
That's
46 touches in the box.
Bro,
so this is for open play goals, none. We didn't. By the way, Emery concedes shots for fun. I'm not here to disrespect Emery. Clearly, he's a good manager.
But you said 39 shots in 3 La Liga games leading up to this.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. And we managed 23 and 4 on target.
4 shots.
Now, the touches in the box I thought was interesting, right? Because we only had 46. Now, that number might not mean a lot to people, so I tried to give a bit of context. Box touches per minute, 0.25, which means we had 1 touch every 4 minutes in the opposition area. Do you know how bad that is?
Of course.
Do you know how awful that is?
I can't get over the shot. I'm sorry.
When we're talking, right, when you get in and around a penalty area, you should, in one attack, have 3, 4, 5 touches. The touch, then the pass, then maybe someone else collects it in the box, then you kind of, maybe you're trying to make something happen. There should be 3, 4 touches for every time you probe the area.
I've done some quick maths in my head, and that sounds like, if I'm not mistaken, 11 touches in one half in the box.
That sounds a bit high. Probably less than that.
Probably less.
Something like that.
The touch method, I think.
Well, 1 every 4 minutes,
We managed
5 every 20, 10 every 40. And then I add one in because it's another 4 minutes. 11 touches in one whole half. And it sounds a lot, but it's not when you think of the job we had to do.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah.
We managed 18 in the first leg. So, okay, a bit more this leg. But the point is, even when we had those touches, we did nothing. They are appalling numbers, and we had most of the ball.
Can we just go back? 4 shots on target over both legs. When I played in my academy team, and I had 3 shots on target. The next day we did a review. We sat down. We did the. You put it on the whiteboard. You watch your game back. They do the numbers, and I got grilled for only having 3 shots on target in that game. Got grilled by my manager. It's not enough. Why are you not shooting? You're holding on to the ball too. On target 3.
Yeah.
And we had 4 over 2 legs.
I know. Disgraceful. By the way, I think one of those shots on target was the penalty. So,
it would have been
worth considering that. What are the comments saying?
Yeah, Josiah sent a super chat in saying, "Big up Turkish and the guys. Turkish, didn't I say people would underestimate Villarreal? They smothered Partey in the midfield. Basics of Unai."
Yeah, I mean, obviously building up to the game, you want to be optimistic. You want to be in belief that we can do it. But even I predicted a draw because that's just the feeling I got from the club. I can only go with my natural feeling, you know. So big up Jashar because he's a big supporter of my channel too. So
big up. And quickly, Fine Margins said a comment saying, "No European football next season. Damn, lol." I'm 25. 25? 25 years since we've not had European football. My whole lifetime, we've always had a European Cup competition that I could look forward to. This club.
Yeah.
I don't care. We need a season out of everything. It's either.
Is that how
I want to genuinely discuss that properly towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
I think that might be one of the few positives we can take from this. And listen, we're fans. We're ultimately going to try and find positives. But go on.
I'm going to take two more super chats quickly. Jack Murray says, "Rest in peace, Claude. Hope he had the best send off. It was very touching today at the Emirates. It was." Very special, but yes, big up as well. RIP to him. Luke Noobs says, "Boys, I'm broken. Bamiyang needs to come in today and put the captain's armband on the desk and be honest with himself. He ain't no captain."
The thing is, if he puts it on the desk, there's no one to give it to from that desk.
Yeah, who picks it up? Bellerin.
You know, like with Oba, I know he's not captain. I know he's not a leader, but I also know it's not his fault he's in that position. Yeah. Even his interview the other day, I did say to you, remember, like he said very good things, but he just didn't give the aura of someone I believe that could lead us into a battle and drag us through if need be.
Yeah,
and that's not his fault. He shouldn't be in that position. But the club have gone downhill so far over the last decade that we gave the captaincy to the players that we are most familiar with as a fan base or with the best relationship, and that's not the right way to do it.
I hear that.
As I say, there's no authority in the change rooms. Like I said this yesterday to, I think Jake and I did the fan cam. The Rio Ferdinands, when he was at United, when you walk into the change room, there's discipline. They won trophies, we've won trophies as well, and they said the atmosphere was, where's the next one coming from? Sometimes they didn't even celebrate they won it. They celebrate on the pitch, they go into the change rooms, the trophy's in the corner. This club that we have today, I can't imagine that mindset coming from the captains like Aubameyang, Bellerin's. I've seen Holden had the armband this season. I couldn't see that mentality, a winning mentality, a focused mentality. I see them doing videos of new haircuts and going, cheese, swag, swag, swag. That's what I see. If I'm a young player seeing that, you're already setting the level of where you can have your own levels, but when I see that, you lot aren't serious. Like I see that on the pitch as well. I really do. There's no proper leaders.
Because modern day, like people give credit for good vibes. You know, I remember years ago when my friends that support United were talking about Pogba, Lukaku coming in, them two playing basketball together in America, Zlatan and all that, and good vibes and energy and that. And I said to them, what's good vibes?
Yeah.
You know, we don't see that from Man City, but they win the titles.
No.
We don't see that from Liverpool, but they win the big
titles.
So, like, all this good vibe stuff, you're in for it with that mentality. And they haven't won anything big since.
Yeah, I put that on the players and the manager because I believe Pep instills that mindset into the players. And because I think there probably is some vibes at Man City, but I think Pep gives them the discipline where when we're here, I've seen it in All or Nothing anyway, I saw it in the documentary. He adds that, he gives that. I don't see that from Arteta and I don't see that from the players.
Because listen, there's good vibes and I look back at Arsenal maybe in the 90s and let's say with Tony Adams and the English core we had back then defensively and whatnot. there was definitely good vibes then. They used to go for a drink. It used to be, you know, a beer culture and whatnot. They had good vibes, but
When
you
it
could
came-
trust them to banter and laugh and joke over drinks and enjoy. But when push comes to shove, they're serious as well. There's good vibes, but there's also very serious vibes. That's what's missing from Arsenal Football Club. Who is serious at this club?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take it back to...
What did you think about Leno coming out to do the post-match interview?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. It
yeah.
wasn't-
Is that a bigger thing to you guys as to me? Because I see it and I think, well...
Yeah, it is. It is a big thing because on the back of rumours, and I want to sort of just state that they are rumours, that he might be off this summer or that we might be looking for a new goalkeeper. Why do we keep having players who look like they're not going to be representing us long term
Coming out and
speaking? Mo said it himself, and he's been saying this for a long time. Where was Aubameyang?
Do you think the club have taken it... Listen, do you think the club have listened in a way to fans saying we need to hear more from people at the club, and throughout this season chucked Tom, Dick and Harry in front of the camera to talk, thinking that's what we want? Because I can't make no sense of why one day it's Ainsley Maitland-Niles before Europa League, another day is Joe Willock, another day is Bernd Leno.
Bukayo Saka, 19 years old. He's carrying the team. He's having to carry us in the press as well.
What sense does that make? It just feels like they noticed we wanted to hear from people, but they're giving us the wrong people to speak.
Yeah.
They're not understanding what we want.
No, look, I don't like it. I'll be honest. It's kind of least of my worries. But you're right. It all kind of emanates from it all comes from sort of the same thing. Yesterday's game was. What did you guys make of it tactically? Because the last few weeks we've seen more of a 4-3-3 than the kind of 4-2-3-1 he's been playing before. I've looked at our heat map, and the thing that frustrates me so much is, imagine needing a goal for basically 3/4 of the tie, because we were 2-0 down at half-time in the first leg. But all right, let's look at this leg. We need a goal for the whole 90 minutes, and that's the heat map that we put up in those. Look at those number 10 areas around the box. There's one area where you can actually still see a bit of the pitch. We didn't even once cross that part. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, how are we ever going to cause them trouble? How are we ever going to cause them trouble? Because we simply didn't have the players in the right area. And again, at the risk of getting a little bit of criticism for this, I'm going to say something a little bit wild here. People say to me, what's Arsenal's approach under Arteta? What's our philosophy?
What's the identity, yeah.
Call me nuts. I actually see one. I just don't think it's the right one. Now, if you watch what we do positionally and you watch what Man City do positionally, I think Arteta is trying to completely rote copy what Guardiola does.
I agree.
I think if you look at Odegaard, the positions he picks up in midfield, it's exactly the same positions as Bernardo Silva. If you look at the width held by Pepe and Saka, it's exactly the same as Foden and Riyad Mahrez. If you look at the roles of the fullbacks, before when we had Tierney overlapping, but he doesn't do that as much now, with Xhaka and Chambers, they're very narrow, they form a shield. It's very similar, Rodri and Partey, the one lone. It's very, very similar in terms of positioning what we tried to do.
Even down to when he put Xhaka there in a Cancelo type of inverted.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at, Smith Rowe as the false nine for De Bruyne.
Let's not mention that one again.
So, I'm looking at this and I'm going, all right, so where's it going wrong for us? And I know exactly where, and it kind of dawned on me yesterday. How many times did Pablo Mari ping the ball out to Bukayo Saka yesterday, or attempt the ping, right? How many times have we?
Not at all. I
thought he did it quite a lot. Yeah,
I thought he did it like twice.
No, I thought that was like a.
It looked like a plan.
Even if he didn't do it, I felt like he was always looking for it. That was always on. And the few times he did it, I thought, I've seen this. Yeah, I've seen Rodri or who is it? Diaz, but mainly Laporte.
Yeah.
I've seen them do that thing. They ping it out. But what does Riyad Mahrez do? And this is not an attack on Bukayo Saka. Riyad Mahrez is world class.
Facts.
So when that ball comes over and he takes a one touch down, and in one touch he's 1-on-1 with his fullback, you are bricking it.
Yeah.
Because he is so good. Now Bukayo Saka, for all his quality, he's not a kind of he's not a ball carrier, beat his man. He's more a runner off the ball. He's more a get in behind kind of forward, more like Sterling in that kind of way. He's not the kind of guy who's going to get the ball, he's 1-on-1 and he's going to destroy you every single time.
Yes.
Because he's not as direct as Mahrez
He's not as direct as Mahrez.
He's not. That is 100%. Yes and no. I only say no because the way that we play so much out the back. Sometimes Man City switch up with Edison doing that ball that you're talking about. He's the one that normally triggers that. But I never see that from Arsenal. We had no... Man City can do both. They can be urgent in their play and get it forward really fast. And they can do we'll keep it and wait for an opening.
Yeah.
So do you believe that Arsenal are trying to emulate that? Because I don't believe...
I think he's trying to do something that works for City because they've got world-class players. So De Bruyne as a false nine works for 2 reasons. A, because he is world-class and he knows how to pick up positions. And the players around him, Gundogan, a goal-scoring box-to-box midfielder, Foden who gets goals, Mahrez who gets goals, they know how to fill in the spaces around. Pepe, probably our biggest goal threat really in terms of wide areas, but he's not exactly he's not bagging, 20 goals a season, is he? Bukayo Saka, you can't expect him to do the Mahrez role because A, he's not as good and he's not mature enough.
But when you have
he's very young.
Yesterday as well, Bellerin didn't overlap him, and this is something I want to ask: is Arteta instructing Bellerin to cut in field?
100%, 100%.
Which also put Saka in a 3-on-1 position most times. So when he did actually get the ball out wide, he's on a 3-on-1. The thing Mahrez has, if he gets the ball out wide, he's probably got the first touch in the Prem. The best first touch in the Prem, Mahrez, which sets him up very well. Yep. But then he'll have another player supporting, taking at least one of the defenders away or attention away. We don't have that chemistry or the sense to do that.
Who does that inverted wing back from right back role for City? It's Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
One of the most athletically gifted, technically gifted, and intelligent footballers. And experienced. Yeah. This is a guy who, if he gets the ball in that area, he can whip it into the box. But more than anything, he's a great shield because he's athletically brilliant. How many times did you see Bellerin huffing and puffing to get back? Again, I'm not blaming him. He's just not suited for that role. So the point I'm trying to make when I look at this heat map here, you know what? It's probably not that different to what maybe a City might put up. But the difference is that when they do it, they've got the players who can be effective from those areas. Yeah. How did they score their second goal against PSG the other night? It's the 1-2, I think it was De Bruyne and Foden. They hit them in that wide area. It comes across to Mahrez at the back post. They've not hit that central area, that 10 area in the middle of the box. They've not done any of that. No. But they've got the quality to be effective from those areas, and we don't. Yeah. And I think Arteta is trying too much to do what he wants with players he doesn't have, rather than going, this group is more suited to this, so let's try get what I can out of it. And again, that's all on man.
Yeah, that's what he did in the FA Cup final. I don't know why he hasn't stuck with that instead of trying to do something that doesn't work.
He's been under pressure this season as well. I mean, us fans did call for less of the three at the back or the wing backs. Us fans did call for over up top them times. So let's not forget that us fans have called for some things that haven't worked out too.
100%.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we've got to take ownership.
Let's see what the comments are saying.
There's quite a few. UK Stob says, "I'm sad. I wanted Baku Part 2, trust the process."
I'd be easy reading out all those names as well before you get Charlene on this show and baited. So be careful with a couple of the names, G.
I will. Oh, thank you.
We don't want that. We don't want that here.
Especially not today. Ozzy Guna says, if they sack Arteta, can anyone really trust this board to get someone better?
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
We need a new board.
What better manager will come in and work under Edu? Like I said in my interview yesterday, if we was to go for a Sarri knows more than Edu. If we was to go for a Conte knows more than Edu. Ten Hag knows more than Edu.
Yeah.
Any manager that will come in will look at Edu like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
You know? That's why I want Ten Hag and Overmars, ideally. If Ek comes in with the Invincibles, Overmars is another legend, coming with Ten Hag, to experienced people that have done it over the last few years at a club.
Yeah, I'd like that.
That would be perfect for me.
What are your thoughts on the rumours of Wenger being part of the
I'm not on
consortium?
it. I'm not on it. He needs to keep his hands over there at FIFA. Okay. I'll be honest. He needs to keep his mouth quiet as well.
That's cool. Liberto says, first of all, Arteta got the lineup wrong in the first leg, and it's all started from there. We deserve to be out. Arteta is very stubborn.
Yeah.
We do.
And sorry, I didn't obviously I see you smile when I said about Wenger, and I know a lot of people still love Wenger, but for me, he could have done a lot more to avoid where we're at now. And
it's not about going backwards.
I wish he did. Exactly.
I don't want to start. Do you know? And listen, I don't mean to be critical of fans here, but I saw a lot of pictures of Ramsey, Ozil, Sanchez, or Cazorla, and by the way, good players who did a lot for this club and won us FA Cups and stuff. And I'm seeing things like, the good old days.
Imagine.
I'm like, that wasn't, that team let us down as
well.
Yeah. Only it was a completely different expectation.
Yeah.
Let's have it right. That team fell short as well.
Of course.
And this is where I get frustrated, where I'm like, we're learning. Well, we're going to start pointing to that season we finished sixth and go, the good old days. No.
That's why even
the Europa League, the good old days.
Even us comparing ourselves to last season or the season before that, for me, it's not the right way of thinking.
Yeah, agreed.
We need to remain comparing ourselves to what we was.
Yeah.
And I know it's laughable right now because we're so far off where we was, But if we compare ourselves to last season, it's going to be a quick win for them next season to get us better than that, because it wasn't exactly anywhere near where we should be.
That's absolutely right. And there are clubs who, okay, Leicester are the anomaly for winning the title out of nowhere. Chelsea won the title, dropped 10th, won the title. It's never as far away as you think, because no matter what happens, you start next season all on 0 points. You all start level. You don't start this season in 9th or 10th. You all start level. So you do the right things. You put some basics in place. You can go a long, long way in one summer. The problem is I don't trust the people in charge to do that, to put the basics in place so you can go a long way. I'm not sure I trust this man either, Mikel Arteta. He did an interview this morning.
This morning?
This morning. This morning he did one. I don't know who he did it with.
So instead of getting sacked, my guys did interviews in the morning. Bloody hell.
Bright and early as well. He looks very tired.
Yeah.
Very
They
tired.
definitely told him to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they said you need to get in front of the camera now and try and make this as best as you can. Anyway, this is what he said now. He said a lot, but I'm going to go with this quote. He says, again, last night, if that ball goes in, he's talking about Aubameyang's header, we win 1-0. You're in the final, it's a different world. But today, that world doesn't look very nice.
Shut
now,
up, man.
he also said that he felt that we were good enough to win the game yesterday.
Of course he did.
He also said that losing Xhaka was a massive blow to the game plan. I just want to say something here. This is not about game plans, fine margins. You know what? If we wanted to, we could all sit here and talk about the fact we should have had a penalty in the 90th minute. Because it was a blatant penalty. But I don't care about that because we don't deserve it, because we were terrible. The energy wasn't there. Do you know our game plan was actually keep it 0-0 for 45 and see what happens? Can you imagine?
It's madness.
Can you imagine we're worried, we're not going to attack at home, so we're worried about what Villarreal might do?
Yeah.
Villarreal are not that good. United will slap them up in the final. Credit to Emery, they are more organised, they're a better team, they have better cohesion, they had a better game plan than us. But
They're not great.
they're not great. And Arteta fell into the same trap that Emery was doing, almost overestimating the opposition, overthinking what they might do. This is all about us taking the game to Villarreal, and we didn't.
Yeah.
I was watching that first half thinking, oh my God, I was really hoping for a Spurs first half where we went out and we took it to them. And if we'd went out 2-1, 3-2, but we had a go, I'm sure we'd all still be saying, Arteta out or whatever, but there'd be a different tone.
Yeah.
I'd have a different feeling towards these players, what I saw yesterday. I'd be saying, listen, I kind of feel sorry for you guys because you gave it your all, but you're not good enough. I can't even say that they gave it their all. And that's what's so disappointing.
Yeah. I'm glad you can see through that, because it's not about if that goes in, we win 1-0. It's about how you approach the game, Mikel.
But how can I
You
manage
know,
not
you
to
can't
see
you
that?
can't approach the game in a pragmatic way and then turn around and say if that one chance we had went in. Like, in all honesty, we should have approached the game on the front foot. I would have been a lot not happier, because I still would have been upset. But I think you mentioned before, going out 4-3 is different to going out 0-0.
Yeah.
It's different to going out the way we did. That's why I can't hear what he says about
Mate,
fine margins anymore.
It was
all
a half
season.
chance as well. It was a half chance. And he's gone on like we were peppering their goal.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Aubameyang did really well to make that as good a chance as it was.
Yeah.
Because, he got up above his defenders, he was wedged between two, and he got a good hit. It wasn't great, people were going great cross by Bellerin, it wasn't. It was a pretty loopy, it was a decent cross. It was
Into the
fine.
right area,
At least he
yeah.
got into a good area. But, what's the game plan at Arteta? Is it, we're going to create 2 chances and you better take them?
Yeah.
What is that? Is that the plan?
That's outrageous.
That's ultra
But
efficiency.
that's what he kind of did against Man City last year in the FA Cup, right? In terms of
Yeah, but
not the same approach, but he just picked off his chances.
But they're City,
Yes,
right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
can kind of understand that. Villarreal. come
I
on,
know. I
man.
understand against City. This
Yeah.
one is completely different.
And we only need 1 goal. And you wouldn't believe it. We were home. You would never have believed it when you watched the game.
Home, what is home anymore, mate? 19 goals in 18 home games this season,
Something like that.
something like
It's
that.
just some silly,
That's just in the league.
ridiculous
You know?
stat. Liberto Super Chat, he's back here and says, if Villarreal win against United, then it's not Unai Emery's fault when we reached in the finals in 2019, because Arsenal is not bound to win any European trophy. Kroenke is a curse to our club. That's quite
I'm not sure we can suddenly say that Emery doesn't take fault for what happened in Baku. But look, he's proving himself to be a decent manager. I'm glad. And by the way, while I was very much on the Emery out train, and I wanted him gone for the job I was seeing, the people who mocked him, I guess if there's one good thing, it's the karma in this, because some people were so disrespectful in the way they mocked him.
That was his
when
fuel.
He was in the job.
That was Emery's fuel to get this done. We could see how passionate he was in that first game when they got them couple goals.
But like the whole good evening and all that. Listen,
there's a lot of that in the comments right now.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Listen, like, people have their quirks, and it's kind of funny the one time you're like, oh, he said it wrong, bless him.
Yeah.
This is the guy when his first ever interview came out and he did it in English. He couldn't speak a word of English, bless him, but he did his best. And he always tried to speak in English. He wasn't there with a translator. He always tried to say it. And yeah, it was difficult in his message. And look, he had some Arteta moments where he said some stuff like, I think we lost a game and he said the game plan went exactly how we wanted. You're thinking, oh my God, this is bad. I almost wonder whether there's a PR guy telling them what to say because it's so ludicrous. But, you know, one thing is that at least... you know, those people will be eating their words because, quite frankly, some of the disrespect he got was outrageous. But that doesn't mean he was the right man for us.
Yeah, Liberto's back again with another super chat, 3 in a row.
Yeah, thanks, Liberto.
Thank you, bro. I'm happy that we're not in Europe. This is a lesson for the people at the club, from the top to the bottom. They should realise how much we, the fans, care for this club. And if I'm honest, that is... I'm not saying being out of Europe is a positive, but I'm saying the fact that the club may get sold now due to how much the club's losing out financially. I said it in my ice bath. I said, COVID, not being in a major competition in the cup, it's all going to affect Kroenke's pocket. Likely, he's probably going to hopefully sell if we keep the pressure on.
Yeah,
this
2
is the
years
best
ago,
time.
they said be excited. We have problems because we're a Europa League team on a Champions League budget or something like that. And now what are we? What budget do we have? Because we're not European anymore. So I'm not sure where they're at right now.
I don't know where they are.
You know.
And what, now there's money to invest? Why are we being so reactive? You know, where do we go from here, guys? You know, let's round off the show with what's coming next. The season's over.
Yep.
We're going to preview in the next couple of days the West Brom game, and I've got no idea what on earth we even preview. Yeah, Turk, start with you. Where do we go from here? What's next?
Just build off what we started a couple of weeks ago on that Friday before the Everton game. That's what's next.
Yeah.
That's all that's next, if I'm honest. I know there's a protest planned for Sunday. Big up everyone that's going to attend that. I'll swing by, but I think we need to do another big one at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I think the last game of the season, perfect opportunity to just one last send off, see where we're at in between from now and then. Hopefully the bid comes in. Hopefully we hear from Bergkamp and Vieira. We get a few more quotes underneath our belts and a bit more optimism. But that's the only lane I'm on. Like building upon the unity the fan base has shown for once.
It was well reported that the bid from Eck was going to come in this week.
Yeah.
There's just no better time. There is no better time for the Kroenkes to look at this investment, that's what it is to them, and go, do you know what? We've made $1 billion, right?
Yeah.
Let's just sell. Let's be done. Let's send it off.
It's the perfect
time to
time.
move on.
Yeah.
You've made your money. I actually don't know if they'll get 1.8 or 2 billion, whatever it is they're talking about in a couple of years' time.
Not with their model.
Take it and run. Listen, I don't like you guys, but Stan and the lot. Take it and run. It's the best thing you can do for yourselves. You turned us into some great brand or whatever, apparently, or whatever it is that's made us go from whatever value we were to whatever value we are. I don't know what you've done right, but something's gone right for you. From an investment perspective, take it and run now.
Yeah, the only thing he done right was buy Arsenal at the right time.
Yeah,
Because
there you
the
go.
commercial deals had nothing to do with him.
Yeah, it's very true.
It was all the Premier League sponsorships growing and increasing over the time. He actually did nothing and
I
reaped the
think
rewards.
Wenger had a part to play in balancing the books as well. I know you probably don't want to hear that. With the players he had keeping us in fourth, and I know that's not a big thing, but keeping us in fourth, keeping the money coming in, that also kept the business afloat and kept us in profit throughout those
We've
torrid
got to pay
times.
off the stadium.
Yeah.
Those years.
Where do we go with the manager now? What are you saying? Because we talked about the Kroenke thing. It's right, we all unanimously agree on that, but where are you with...
Well, I said it in the last show, and it was the first time I kind of voiced it, I was Arteta out, but there is still bigger problems. That can't be where my energy lies. Yes, he does need to go. His club's too big for him, but again, what Turkish said is it's the protests and...
It's like dominoes. Arteta, Edu, Vinay, Kroenke. Knock this one down and watch them all
We'll
fall.
go, yeah.
That's what I want to see.
That's a really good way to put it.
100%.
That's what I
100%.
want to see.
I believe the consortium, if they get brought in, if Daniel gets brought in and the consortium are there, they're clearing everyone out. They're saying, that consortium are going to say, once Kroenke goes, you all going. You are not winners. You aren't. It's been evident. For the past years you've been in charge, it's been evident. So that is what Turkish said there. It's a domino effect. Get rid of Kroenke, the rest will go. and we can rebuild. I've been hearing you lot say we need to scrap that from top to bottom, and every fan I spoke to said that. That's the best way to do it. Get the top done.
I'm not going to try to sit here and be all happy clappy and life could be great now, but I'll ask this question: could we benefit from a year outside of European football? And I know, and I'm just going to address something before we answer that. I know there'll be people saying, well, we thought we'd benefit from a year out of Champions League and we've not got back. You can't keep lowering your standards just in the hope that it's going to get better, but I think maybe there's some weight to it.
Yeah, because there's not much sense behind saying if we drop out of Champions League, because Europa League is more stressful on the timeline of a season than Champions League. Yeah. If you've got no Europe, it's literally every weekend and the midweek for domestic cups. Can it bode well for us? I think yes. But if you ask me, can going out yesterday to Villarreal bode well for us? Yes. Will it? I don't know. You don't know. We don't know.
It's going to take a lot of investment from the next owner if there is a new owner, because players got to be wanting to come to Arsenal, and there's no European football. So you're going to have to put a lot of money in.
And it's not just money investment. I want him to be invested with care.
Yeah.
Due diligence, stuff like that. It's not all about it's not all about investment.
Yeah.
Because we have had nothing from this owner. It's about some more clarity as well.
Yeah.
It's about a bit more direction.
Yeah.
Some goals, some targets, some milestones. Hold yourselves to account to where we're going.
Agreed. I always try to be positive. Listen, I wanted to win the Europa League. I wanted to be in the Champions League next season. I want to be playing with the big boys, of European football, and we can't do that. Is there some kind of positive from this? I want to put one out there. Firstly, that obviously the club looks way more sellable now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that is one positive. The second thing, when I look at Arsenal right now, and by the way, I think it's time for Arteta to go. So whoever comes in, reality is there's not going to be a change. So we're looking at Arteta basically again at the start of next season. But I think whoever's the manager, when I look at this really young group, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, even Gabriel's only 22, 23, Tierney's only 23, 24.
Yeah.
I actually would like them to have a season without flying across Europe every week, without these sort of like slog matches where you're going to get through, but it's not going to be particularly entertaining until you get to April, May, and you might be in a semi-final, and then ultimately you realise you're not good enough for it. I actually think, I look at Saka, let's be honest, he was awful yesterday. But that's not his fault. The guy's 19 and he's been severely overworked in this team. And it's all on him to make it happen. Him, Smith Rowe, the only player, Smith Rowe, Pepe and Mario thought the only ones who come out with their head held high yesterday in terms of really trying to make things happen and doing their job. But, Smith Rowe's 19, the guy had injury problems, didn't come into the team till January. I do think they could benefit from a good week's coaching, play on the weekend, a good week's coaching, play on the weekend. And that is the only positive.
There was one moment yesterday, sorry to cut you off, but you mentioned Saka and Emil Smith Rowe. There was over a free kick on the edge of the box. And someone said to me next to me, look who's over the free kick. And it's not a diss to them, but I looked and I thought to myself, look, the two teenagers are over a dangerous free kick. If it's Man City, you're going to see the Mahrezes and the big boys over it, the De Bruynes. If it's Man United, you'll see Fernandes and Pogba. If it's Chelsea, you're going to see big and more experienced
players, yeah.
At Arsenal, it's Emil Smith Rowe and Saka over a dangerous free kick in a Europa League semi-final that our season rests upon. It's not their fault, but it just shows the levels.
Yeah, I completely agree.
It's not fair on them.
I agree.
It's not fair on them. I just want to say that I'm really proud of them. I'm really proud of them too. Martinelli, Gabriel, first season English football, Kieran Tierney. There's a few of them. I'm genuinely really proud of them, and thank you, because our season would have been over a long time ago if it weren't for some of these players. You think of Gabriel's header against Olympiacos when we needed that second away goal. Right. You think Bukayo Saka pulling one out against Benfica. You think Smith Rowe's performance in Slavia Prague. You think Kieran Tierney just all season,
he got one against Benfica as well, Kieran Tierney.
Oh, of course, he got that. Yeah, absolutely.
Even Saka getting the penalty, giving us a lifeline in this first leg of this game.
It's a handful of players that, you said, have done enough this season to walk away. Maybe not with their head held high, because I know they're disappointed with what's going on. Because a couple of those players love Arsenal Football Club we do. But with their name intact, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank them, and they've been amazing, and they've got 4 games to just.
Yeah, I was going to say
enjoy.
we still
No,
got the rest, but
just enjoy the rest of your football now. Just who cares? Genuinely, who cares? Just try
I'd
and
send
enjoy.
Saka and Emma Smith on holiday.
Yeah, maybe.
Go
to
on
be
holiday,
fair.
mate.
Yeah, rest
Because
them.
we've rinsed you this season already. Bring in Reece Nelson, put in Balogun, start putting Aziz for a couple of games, put in Joel Lopez. Why not have Tierney be fit for next season? Just do things now, because these last 4 games mean so little that playing some of the youngsters that we might see next season might give it some more substance.
And also, I think Pepe's worked hard the last couple of months and really tried to. But mainly, I'm looking at the youngsters.
The youngsters, you have to, what you said.
And that's
there.
that. That's kind of the only positive I can say.
That
is it. Can I just run through some comments? There's loads coming in. Just smash through them. Cyram says, it's time to go. Big up Turkish and the other Gooners protesting. This moment is gaining momentum, and let's hope for change. Kroenke out, Arteta out, useless players out, 23 years supporting this club, and this is absolute low. Janin says, okay, from now on, I am Arteta out, but also the players are average. Don't forget that. Don't always look for positives for them. They are not good enough.
Oh yeah, sorry, the dominoes. It was Arteta, Edu, Vinay, Edu, right? But in front of Arteta is the whole group of players minus the names you said. So about 20 dominoes there. So it's literally a nice little domino. Knock them all down as well, because there's a hell of a lot of people that need to be.
Amen. Ashwin says, after losing all the trophies, finishing mid-table, Arteta has the guts to say he will prove himself. What?
That's what I'm saying. Yesterday he came out and said he feels under pressure. The fucking season's over. How can you feel pressure when the season's done, mate?
Oh, he did say that. There's always pressure, yeah.
But guy, I don't know what's going on.
Erin says Allegri, Rodgers, Simeone, Howe and Hassan Hootel. I guess he's talking about potential managers. KD, I missed work for this. Remember.
Yeah, bless him. Took a day off
work for this. I shouldn't even laugh, bro. I feel for you. Worst thing is that the club is not changing the manager. Where do we go from here? Who can change it? Usopp says Arteta doesn't instruct Chambers or Cedric to cut inside, so why does Bellerin do it? Oh,
sorry, what was that?
Arteta doesn't instruct Chambers or Cedric to cut inside, so why does Bellerin do it?
Actually, Chambers he does, but yeah, I take your point.
Yeah, Nero says, Don James, you lied to me, man. You told me you could see a style of play. You told me he was superior than Emery because Emery had Aubameyang in his prime. Why, Don James? Why?
Were you lying to the people,
Why
James?
lying to the people?
What are you doing to
I don't even
people?
remember saying that.
Oh, that one, that old Wenger chestnut.
That weren't me.
I didn't see, I don't remember.
I didn't see the incident.
Camille, before we wrap up, Camille says, I've said it before, Arsenal have not been relevant as a big club for over a decade, haven't competed for the Prem, known as a round of 16 club in the European Champions League, and now failure in Europa. Okay.
Yeah, imagine that.
Okay.
I think that's...
There's a last couple.
Yeah, let's get them out as well. Love for the love people today.
Thank you for the super chats, everyone. Sam T says, Xhaka excuse is BS. We never sustained any pressure on their defence. The whole plan was not around Xhaka. Arteta makes too many tactical changes. Yeah, because he was blaming Xhaka, saying, not blaming Xhaka, saying him being injured and warm-up.
My man said we trained for Xhaka to be left back. Well, the rest of the season you trained for Tierney to be left back. So don't come and tell me the reason we fucked this game up is because you trained for Xhaka for 3 weeks to be left back. What about the fucking year before that, mate?
Imagine your game plan is Xhaka's the most important player in this system for the game today. Imagine that.
Hold on. We didn't score because we upgraded our left back.
Imagine to a more attacking, mobile one.
Yeah. Okay. Dennis Morgan says good evening. O'Malley says Emery was not backed either, wanted Partey too. And I believe Lord Nicholas Bentner, James is
so naive, I've seen that, don't worry. You can read them out, it's all right.
The real Janus, he's not, by the way, people. The real Janus says, big up Turkish, I'll be there on Sunday, KSC out. Thoughts on Stevie G, Rangers still undefeated. Not thoughts on Stevie G.
Don't care.
Alex says, Turkish, do you think Ten Hag with this squad would get top 4, win Europa League? And do you think
no manager would?
Facts. And do you think Wenger would do as bad as Arteta?
Wenger dropped us out of top 4. I don't care about comparing him.
Last two. Josh says, this club's a mess. Arteta needs to be gone and the owners, we sack Arteta, but who on earth is going to want to come in and deal with this mess we have? Ragazzo,
Just say rag, my guy. Shorten the names for them man there.
Arteta will coach in Spain and be very successful.
Oh, is that Italian? Ragazzo means like kid, guy.
Yeah, after what he done to Moreno's name, I think even those easy
Monroe,
words,
man, what are you on about?
Ragazzo.
Faraz says, what do you think of European Conference League, guys? We can qualify if we come 7th in the league. I think
That would be such an Arsenal thing to do. Be the first English club to qualify for the 3rd European tier
I don't want it.
And
I do
Kroenke
not
will
want
probably
the
say that's
conference.
success.
I
I do not want the Conference League.
that.
I don't want it.
Anwar says, I have
Imagine 1 week European Super League, the next UEFA Conference League.
Does the European Super League sound so bad right now, though? Does it sound so bad?
Just end it. Just end it.
Conference, growing up, the conference meant a low level of football, the Conference League and that. And now, next one.
Anwesh, I have doubts for Daniel Ek. Pierre-Emerick said in Sky Sports that they want to compete but want to inject the Arsenal DNA. I have doubts of that. Why does he have doubts then? Thierry said in Sky Sports that they want to compete, yeah, but wanting to inject Arsenal DNA. Weird one. Nino says, I understand everybody being very upset, but that is part of football too. This is the time we have to prove that we stand behind the team, even though it's going very badly.
Stand behind the team. Go and clap them on Sunday. 5 o'clock, the bus is coming in. Go clap them again.
Nicholas says next year we'll be saying maybe a year out the Prem will do us good. I say let Arteta finish the season and let the new manager take over in summer.
It's a very good point.
Right, I think there is a few more. I'm sorry if I missed it. Mark T is a regular. I'll quickly say this one as well. The players' mentality is so inconsistent, especially at all the senior players. You'd think they'll be pumped for this game. I'd rather watch golf. Okay, there's loads. Guys, thank you for your comments. There's so many. I'm sorry, I'm missing. No, let's not. I feel bad. Let me do this. Dano says, so Sarah, right, so Sarah is overworked now. Okay, I think it means Saka. So Saka is overworked now. When Arteta rests him, everyone goes crazy. And now you say he's overworked. Shake my head. This is what grinds my gears about Arsenal fans.
If that was grinds your gears of Arsenal fans, you haven't opened your eyes for long enough, because that's not the biggest problem
that's not
in
the
our
problem.
fan
You
base.
should be right. Yeah, facts. Cameron says, became a fan of Arsenal in 2004 when ESPN started broadcasting the Premier League in the US. Arsenal introduced me to the beautiful game, and this team was my first love. I'm 28 now, and now I'm introducing my son to this crap.
Good luck, son. Good luck to your son, mate. Because I don't know where.
Yeah, my nephews say, "Why do you support Arsenal?" When they said that to me, I had to show them the history of the Invincibles and everything, and they were like, and then they showed me the league table.
There you go.
I didn't know what to say.
Little kid shutting you up.
My 8-year-old nephews, twins. They haven't. Anyway, John says, I'm embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan, and I was at my lowest yesterday. Arteta is useless. Get him out. He is the Spanish Paul Jewell.
Was that the last one?
No, I think this is the last one here.
Paul Jewell, I completely forgot about.
Pre-Ank says Arteta has to go, but we should not push that. I think he's trying to say that. Push that too much right now. If Kroenke sacked Arteta, he would get a lifeline, and it will start a new process.
Yeah, that's the worry.
I hear that. I actually hear that point. This whole, is it just like another stage for the Kroenkes if they're bringing another manager?
Yeah, like I said, listen, I said on my stream the other day, and I think this is a good way to wrap it up. Let's say we got 50,000 fans on Kroenke's neck right now. If Kroenke sacks Arteta and brings in another manager, that 50,000 fans turns into potentially 40,000 fans, because 10,000 think, oh, well, we'll give this new guy a chance because blind positivity, don't be negative, it has an effect on the club, yada, yada, yada. I heard it all over the years. That 40,000 then, if we go buy a player for 70, 80 mil, that 40,000 then turns to 25, maybe 30,000, because another 10, 15,000 fans think, oh, they bought a nice player there. Let's give them a chance.
They're showing
blind
ambition.
Positivity, ambition, yada, yada. Heard it all before. We need to remain focused. If they sack Arteta, Kroenke out. If they hire a manager you want in, Kroenke out. If they buy Mbappe, Kroenke out. If they buy Haaland, Kroenke out. Whoever they buy, whoever they bring in, whatever they do this summer, this board has proven that they're not the ones. So let's not be fooled again. Yeah? That's how I think we should end it.
It's a great way to wrap it up.
Love,
good
love
show, guys.
James,
Thanks
love
for-
Cecil.
yeah.
Hope you guys have enjoyed the live full time. Let us know in the comments below if you want to see it again live. We've got only a few left coming towards the end of the season, and they don't mean much, but I like how we've engaged with the comments and the subscribers and that. So let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that stuff, people. love and peace. We'll be back for the warm-up.